Hey Han, I'm Chloe and this is the Embrace tutorial. My mission here is to share my passion for pole dancing and make pole dancing easy to learn and accessible. This is the 41st video of the beginner pole trick tutorial series. In order to maximize your training out of all the videos, I highly recommend you to start from the very first video of this playlist, as the tricks will be a progression of the video before. The Embrace is a very pretty trick. We're gonna have 3 different entries into the Embrace today, and one of them include the one that we learned the trick before. This video is mirrored for your ease of learning. I'll have a red wristband on my right wrist and my right ankle to indicate the right side of my body if you do get confused of the directions. This trick tutorial is created for you for information and educational purposes only, and for you to enjoy learning pole dancing from the comfort of your own home. Please participate at your own risk and don't work beyond your capability, and seek help or spotting when necessary. For any health concerns, please make sure you seek professional medical advice. Please also make sure you warm up your body before you start this video. I have a warm-up playlist depending on your level under the playlist warm-up so that you can try them before you do the tricks. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure you give it a thumbs up so that I know to create more of these kinds of videos, and consider subscribing to my channel if you haven't yet so that you are notified every single time I upload a video. If you're looking to further your pole journey in combining tricks and dance together, then consider subscribing to my online learning platform Pole Art Bowl, where we put tricks and dance together into a combo and learning an entire routine with combos and dance together. You can find the link in the description below for further information. Alrighty, without further ado, let's get into the Embrace tutorial. Alrighty, let's get into our conditioning. For conditioning today, we are going to do our leg kicks. So, we are going to start on the left side of the pole on our toes. Now, once we're on our toes, make sure that you have about 20cm gap between the pole and yourself, or I would say about a foot length away from the pole. Now you're gonna come onto your toes, hands right in front, chest height. Now from there, making sure that you're right over that toe, and then you're gonna start bringing your left leg forward as you hunch your back. Now, when you're hunching your back, I want you to almost think like you're getting your tummy punched. So you're gonna suck your tummy in, and then you're gonna hunch your back. Now, once you do that, keep your leg that's on the floor extended, and then you're gonna start shooting your leg back and arch. So you're gonna squeeze your bum a lot and then kicking your leg backwards. So what you're pretty much just doing from front on is that you're bringing your leg forward and then you're gonna bring it backwards. Now, let's try 4 on each side. So swinging forward and back is 1. So it's not 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's 1 set here. All right, on your toes, grabbing the pole at chest height, swing your leg forward, hunch, and arch kick. Beautiful. 3, 2, and last one. Well done. Let's swap it over to the other side. So standing just about foot length away from the pole, on your toes, hands at chest height. Really grounding that leg and making sure that your leg on the floor is straight, and obviously your leg that's coming up as well. So hunching your back and arch kick. 3 and 2 and last one. Beautiful, well done. There is your conditioning done. Alrighty, now let us get into our Embrace. As I mentioned earlier, we're gonna try 3 different entries for our Embrace today. Now, our prerequisite for this move is going to be either your spinning climb, static climb, your aerial pole sit, and your sad girl that we did last week. So you can put this both on spin or static, either or both work. I'm just gonna do this on spin. I find it slightly easier to do this on spin just because you can use your leg slightly as momentum when you're doing it on spin. But static will work as well. Now this is what an embrace from a spinning climb firstly looks like. Now this is your second entry from an aerial pole sit into an embrace. Now this is your third entry from a sad girl. Alrighty, so let's break down our embrace. 3 different entries today. Wow, very elaborate. So we're gonna start off with our spinning climb entry. Now with our spinning climb entry and our embrace entry, it is quite similar. So we do start in a spinning climb, but the difference is that with the sad girl, before we get our tummy all the way to the pole, that you sit your bum down straight away into your sad girl. So let's just break down the difference and then I shall show you how to do it from a sit. So we're going to try starting from a spinning climb, either your half bracket grip or forearm grip, either or. Now, once you come into a climb, you're gonna make sure that you pull your tummy all the way to the pole. So you're pretty much in your upright sort of crucifix entry, very similar to it. Now from there, making sure that you keep your chest very close to the pole, inside elbow comes onto the pole, grabbing your shoulder. And then once you feel secure there, outside hand goes over and then grabbing your shoulder with your opposite hand. And then from there, once you feel like your tummy is secure and your elbow is secure, you're gonna bring your legs out as if we're doing a carousel, kicking both of your legs out, and then there is your embrace. So let's try this one together from a spinning climb. So into your forearm grip or half bracket grip, either or. Spinning climb, make sure you climb nice and high, chest to pole. Elbow comes on, grabbing your shoulder. Outside hand goes over onto your shoulder, keep your tummy nice and close to the pole, push, and then lift both of your legs off. To come out, hook your leg back, and sliding down. Well done. Now let's try this on the other side. So we come into our half bracket grip or forearm grip, spinning climb, make sure you don't climb or spin too much. Tummy on the pole. Inside elbow comes on. Outside one comes on. Tummy on the pole, kick your leg back, looking all the way up. Hooking back and coming out. Well done. Alrighty, now let's move on into our sad girl entry. So with our sad girl entry, we are going to come into a sad girl. So again, if you haven't watched the sad girl, make sure you do the tutorial before this, and then this will be much easier for you. Now, this is slightly harder because you don't start with your tummy on the pole. Your tummy will be off of the pole, and then you have to have a very solid elbow grip to come into this. So I find this entry probably the trickiest out of all the ones that we've been doing so far. So we're gonna come into a climb. Make sure that you climb once or even twice if you need to, because when you're coming into sad girl, then you have to hook your knee nice and high, otherwise your toe will be scraping on the floor. So I'll do probably a nice big one climb. So I'm gonna come into our forearm grip or half racket grip, either or, tucking your knee nice and high. And then from there, elbow comes onto the pole, grabbing your shoulder. Other armpit comes around, and then from there, squeeze and then lift. And then you can come out. Beautiful, well done. Let's try it on the other side. So again, starting off with tucking your knees very high, outside leg in front, inside elbow comes on first, grabbing your shoulder, outside comes on top. And then from there, release. And coming out. Well done. And there is your sad girl entry. Now, let's try our last entry from a pole sit. Now, with our pole sit, same exact thing, but we just come into an aerial pole sit. So again, if you haven't watched the aerial pole sit tutorial, go ahead and watch it. You will have to do an aerial pole sit, or else again, you will be scraping your toe on the floor. So, we're gonna come into a spinning climb into your sit. Now, once you come into your sit, you're gonna get your inside elbow on top of your shoulder, outside hand over it. Now from there, you're gonna push your tummy into the pole, so make sure you don't hunch your back. Push your tummy, and then lift your leg back. To come out, hook your ankle back, or your knee back, and then coming out. Well done. Let's try it on the other side. Either your forearm grip or half racket grip. And then inside elbow onto the pole, just at shoulder height. Grab your shoulder, outside hand onto your shoulder. Push your tummy into the pole first, and then release both of your legs. To come out, hook your ankle back, and coming out. Well done. There is your embrace, 3 different entries done. Alrighty, now let's go through some tips and common mistake. Now the first tip I want to give you for the embrace is your leg kick. Now in terms of your leg kick, so far we've been doing it where we bring both of our legs out at the same time. Now, if you're finding this one very tricky, and if you feel like you don't have the grip in your tummy or maybe in your elbow to be coming into your embrace, then you can try one leg at a time, and this is gonna be much easier. So, in terms of our leg, we always start off with the inside leg up first, and then outside leg. So remember, inside leg is the one where if your inside elbow comes onto the pole, so right elbow comes onto the pole, it's your right leg that shoots back. So if you're starting on the left side of the pole with your leg behind, so whichever leg that is behind in your climb, the same leg kicks back, and then you can come into your embrace. So again, make sure that when you're doing your embrace, if you want to start from here, start kicking your inside leg back, so the one behind the pole, try kicking this one back, and then once you feel secure, you can try taking your other leg back. And that's gonna help you at least sort of find the right grip before you try taking both your legs off at the same time. Now, second one is your leg positioning in your embrace. In terms of your leg positioning, you can have your legs as narrow as you want, or as wide as you want. So they both work either or, but you might want to try your leg positioning on the floor before so that you can familiarize yourself with how far you want your legs out or in. And again, this is really just personal opinion and your option. They both work. I think they're both pretty. So just try and experiment what sort of shape you like. So you can either have your legs like narrow, so about like shoulder width apart. You can even get them together, or you can have them all the way wide. However, in terms of your leg positioning, rather than bringing your leg out to the side as such, you want to shoot it a little further back. So it's that conditioning sort of exercise we did in the beginning, that leg positioning rather than to your side, and then that will make your move much prettier than having your leg rather the side. So I'll show you the difference. So let's just say I'm doing a wide one. So rather than bringing it to your side, you want to bring it back inside. And that will look much prettier, and make sure that when you're doing your kickback that you feel it in your upper glute. So it's like just this area right underneath your back or your lower back. If you feel that squeeze right there, that means you're doing it right. So there is your leg positioning. Now, let's talk about head movement for a second. Now, in terms of head movement, you want to make sure that you're not just looking towards the pole. I mean, this looks okay, but you might as well do the trick pretty. So in terms of a head movement, you want to either make sure that you look towards the top of the pole, or you can either also look over your outside shoulder towards the floor. And that's going to really elevate your movement, making it look much nicer. So rather than just looking towards the pole, you can look up, or you can look over your shoulder towards the floor. And there you have it. Much nicer, prettier. Might as well execute it nicely if you can. Now let's also talk about leg grip and hand grip and elbow grip, because you're gonna need all of that. Oh, and this is very, very elbow heavy. Jeez. Now as much as you need elbow grip for this one, you actually need tummy grip. This must be a new grip that if you've been following the beginner pole trick tutorial series, we haven't done much tummy grip before. Very interesting. So the pole sits ultimately in your inside elbow, obviously, and slightly in your outside elbow. So mostly in your inside, a bit on your outside, and then onto your tummy as well. So if you are wearing anything or any material that is interfering with your tummy grip or your elbow, you are going to have to take that off, because you'll really need that tummy grip. It will help a lot for this particular one. So make sure that if you have dry skin, that you use something that's a bit more moisturizing on your skin, and then that's going to help you get a little bit more tacky and then grip onto the pole better. If you do have sweaty skin or oily skin, you might want to get something that's a bit more drying. So I have some of the link in the description that I use personally. I have sweaty skin, and I have sweaty hands and dry skin. So if you apply to that, you might want to try the products that I use. Again, this is really going to depend. Not always will it work on you. So you might want to do a bit of research and try the products that work especially for you. And I'm not endorsed for any of the products. This is just for your own benefit. So do a teeny bit of research, and that could help you with your grip way more than you really need it to. Now, the other thing I want to talk about is our different body positioning when we're coming into it. So, in terms of our entries, we try 3 different entries. Our spinning climb or static climb. We also did our aerial pole sit and also our sad girl. So, Again, I'm going to repeat this again, but you'll have to make sure you do these trick tutorials, or else firstly, I won't be able to break down every single little bit of it in terms of how to make your execution nicer. Or say, for example, if you feel like one bit is a bit clunky, it might be because you haven't done that trick tutorial. So I would highly recommend you, even if you've done it once, I would probably recommend you to try it even twice or 3 times. Watch it again with fresher eyes, and that will help you a lot with coming into the right position, and also for your transitions to be much smoother, because sometimes you might forget like that one tip that you really needed to elevate your climb or your sit or your sag girl. So make sure you watch the tutorials, and it will, trust me, it will help you tremendously, because even sometimes for me, I forget about these little tips and I'm like, oh yeah, actually, if I do this, then I could do this a little better. So that's what the trick tutorials are there for you for. Now, lastly, let's talk about our exit. So with our exit, please make sure you don't jump out of it. Well, firstly, you might get injured. And secondly, if you jump out of tricks, then you never learn how to nicely come out of it. So with our embrace, there's multiple different ways that you can come out. But the easiest way is to just ankle lock. So lock your knee in and then lock your ankle in and then come out of it. So you can either, once you ankle lock, you can come into your double knee spin. So ankle to bum and then coming out. Or if you're low enough, then you can just unhook your legs and come out. So make sure that when you're doing honestly any sort of trick, that you work on your exit. Otherwise, you're gonna have this really bad habit of just jumping out of any trick, and then you won't learn how to exit nicely. So those were all the tips and common mistakes I wanted to go through. Alrighty, before I let you go, a little tip for you today. Not exactly a mindset tip, but this is a tip for you to elevate your pole tricks. So I just want to talk quickly about conditioning today, because I remember for myself that initially in the beginning of my pole journey that I was very, very reluctant, and I used to slack off on conditioning a lot. I'm sorry to all my old pole dancing instructors, but I used to slack off in conditioning because 1, I hated them, 2, it was strenuous, 3, it was very repetitive, and 4, I just did not like conditioning because I just felt it was very boring. Now that I am in 6 years into pole dancing, I really, really understand the importance of conditioning and the reason why we do our conditioning. Now, again, I understand that conditioning might be really tricky in the beginning, and it is freaking hard. And I don't discount that whatsoever, because I personally think, and because my strength is my weakness, is that conditioning does tire you out. However, if you don't do your conditioning, then you're not able to firstly activate the muscles that you need to. And secondly, you also don't learn how to strengthen your body so that you are able to do your tricks. And third one, obviously injury prevention, and to warm up your body before you try the trick. The reason why we do the amount of reps that we do is that not one thing is not gonna warm you up. You need to do a few reps to get your body warm, and also it's gonna help you get into the right, correct positioning when you do the tricks. And the conditioning exercises that I give you for each trick tutorial is very specific to that particular trick. So I bet you it will definitely help you for that particular trick. So you might not be able to do it in the beginning, and you might not be able to condition your body properly and do the amount of reps, but if you're finding that really hard to do all the reps that you're supposed to, please make sure you do it again in your next training session, and increase the amount of reps that you can do, so that ultimately, say for example, if I tell you to do 4 reps, then you're able to do the 4 reps ultimately, and then that's gonna help you really achieve the trick. If you aren't able to do that particular conditioning or for that trick, and I bet you won't be able to do that trick or at least do it the way that it's actually supposed to be done. So that's the reason why conditioning is important, and I learned it the hard way. So please, I hope that you can understand the importance of conditioning early on in your pole journey. Thank you so much for joining me in the Embrace tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I shall see you in the very next tutorial. Bye. Please participate. Participate. Oh, look at your toe beans. They're so cute. Wee, wee, wee. Why you look like that? I love you. Oh, look at you. Very pretty. Yes, that's you.